Hi, everyone. My name is Justin Goldman, and I'm the founder of the Goalie Guild, a 501c3 public charity based in Colorado, dedicated to educating and inspiring and supporting goalies in the goaltending community. Within the Goalie Guild, we also have our Lift the Mask program, which is a mental health initiative, again, dedicated to supporting goaltenders in the goaltending community. So that's why I'm here to speak to everyone today. And first, I just wanted to thank Dr. Cheryl McDonald for this opportunity to speak at this Goalie Symposium hosted by St. Mary's University. Goalie symposiums are few and far between, so I really appreciate this event. I appreciate the fact that it's free, for guests to register and attend. And I'm really looking forward to that session on the 30th where we get a chance to interact and have that Q&A and, just have more discussion about goaltending development. So thank you to St. Mary's and Dr. McDonald for this opportunity to speak about Lift the Mask and mental health, which is obviously near and dear to my heart. Real quickly, just a little bit more information on myself. I've been involved with professional hockey for about 15 years. I've been a goaltender for 25 years. Whenever the NHL resumes, it will be my 4th season as an emergency backup goalie for the Colorado Avalanche. I also act as the goalie coach in chief here in the Rocky Mountain District for USA Hockey. And then I also work for another nonprofit foundation called MindSpark Learning. And we are dedicated to professional development for teachers and coaches. So I'm super passionate about learning, creativity, and social emotional growth for athletes, specifically for goaltenders. Really what started my journey into becoming a mental health advocate within the hockey community is through the books that I've written. Specifically, this book here in the middle called The Power Within. This is part of a series that I co-authored with one of my mentors in goaltending, a guy by the name of Mike Valley, who was a longtime goalie coach for the Dallas Stars. And we realized when we sat down to start writing this book that back then in 2012, there really were no resources specifically focused on supporting goalies and the mental game. There were a lot of great books about technique and skill development, but nothing that really just primarily focused on, overcoming adversity or mental performance or obviously mental health. And so we sat down with a handful of NHL goalies and just had really candid, open discussions about, how they handled adversity, how they overcame obstacles like losing big games or just any of the things that we, face as goaltenders. How did the best of the best overcome them? What mental strategies did they use? What did they learn from their peers and their own mentors? And all of that wisdom that they shared with us, we just put it into a book and we wanted to just pass it along to the next generation of young goalies so that they could become a little bit more self-aware of the importance of the mental game and how important it is to, work on those mental skills and, understand that it's okay to not be okay and that the goaltending position comes with a very unique set of challenges that we really don't see with other athletes in other sports. So that's really where the journey started for myself. And then, a bunch of things happened along the way. I went through some really difficult trauma myself, especially very recently. And so that's why I've become so passionate and so dedicated to, supporting goaltenders and mental health and their mental health. So real quickly, and just a heads up, since I'm clearly not going to be able to fit a lot of what I want to talk about in this, 15 to 20 minute video, I'm going to be providing an online toolkit, which will include some more links and videos and resources that we use at Lift the Mask to support goalies in their mental health. And anything that I share here, use it as a way to spark ideas for you to take back and use in your own community or within your own hockey program. So all of the resources, it's all free. It's all open source. I'd love to help, generate ideas and spark some interest in, bringing programs like Lift the Mask to your area or your region. So it's all here for you guys to use and share. But what is Lift the Mask? Basically, it is just a mental health and performance program and platform for the goaltending community. We offer free resources on our website. We have links to, things like suicide hotlines and different organizations that are, fully committed to supporting mental health. And we do all of this in order to not only, provide those resources for the goalie community, but also to empower goaltenders to become mental health advocates in their own community. So, if we can inspire an individual who's gone through some trauma or struggles with OCD or anxiety or depression, and we can get them to turn around and become advocates and be willing to share their stories and talk about, some of the struggles that they've gone through, just like NHL goalies did with our books, I think that's a really, really powerful way to help end a lot of the stigmas associated with mental health and athletes at all levels. So again, it's not just providing the resources or the financial support, it's also empowering young goaltenders or goalies of any age to become advocates in their own community. But that being said, we do have, a couple of very specific tasks and goals and missions with the program. Most notably, the fact that our foundation will donate up to $100 for any goalie or, goaltending family in need of professional or licensed mental health care. So whether that's, a goalie that wants to sit down with a sports psychologist or a therapist or, just sit down with a mental skills coach, anyone who is a professional in the mental health spectrum in that industry, we will provide up to $100 for a goalie individual or a goaltending family to help eliminate that financial barrier. And that really is our long-term vision, is to eliminate, the social, financial, and accessibility barriers associated with mental health care for goaltenders. So Lift the Mask really is the bridge between the goaltenders and the families and those professionals that are out there every day, offering their services to help people become the best version of themselves, or to help overcome trauma, or to help, manage certain illnesses associated with the mind. But no program can be successful without partners and without help. I'm not a mental health care professional. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a sports psychologist, nor would I ever claim to be one. But I am an individual that has gone through, my own trauma and my own, difficult times, that just wants to give back to the community in the best way possible. So our organization leans on other organizations that are fully committed to, mental health advocacy and support, in order to provide better, more refined resources for the goalie community. So the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, they're one of our main partners. We have direct access to their massive online portal of therapists and consultants and sports psychologists. The Athletes Against Anxiety and Depression. This orange graphic you see here is actually from the Center for Performance and Excellence at the University of Denver. And then the same here, Global Mental Health Movement, which is an awesome social movement that Robin Leonard from the Vegas Golden Knights is actually a part of. So the Same Here movement is a great partner and a great resource for us. And so a lot of the information and a lot of the resources we provide are coming from these partners because they're extremely reliable. And again, it's just providing that direct link to resources that can really have an immediate and relevant impact on goalies that are struggling. One of the ways that we eliminate the social barriers associated with mental health and goaltending is through our ambassador program. So you can see here the picture on the top. You guys are probably familiar with this gentleman on the far right, Ben Meisner in the black suit there. Ben Meisner is one of our pro ambassadors, and his story and his openness and his passion for being an advocate for mental health is extremely important to our program and the goalie community. Every day he is helping, not only individuals that are, playing the position, but athletes and people all over the world. So having him support our program as an ambassador is a huge, huge help to our program. And same with all the other individuals that you see here, including Kyle Kaiser, who is a, prospect for the Boston Bruins. He reached out and had gone through some significant trauma with some very serious concussions, and just realized that this program had helped him, and he wanted to pay that back and, support Lift the Mask. And so he's one of our top ambassadors as well. So again, talking about empowering goalies and giving them that platform and that opportunity to become advocates in the fight to eliminate stigmas associated with mental health. That's a big part of Lift the Mask. That's something that helps spread the word. It helps keep us all connected. It helps us preserve this idea that it's okay to not be okay, and that if a goalie is struggling, there is a place that they can go to get help from goalie specific resources and individuals that are associated with the Lift the Mask program. Another one of the ways that we, help eliminate some of the stigmas associated with mental health, and again, some of those social barriers, is through something as simple as our, helmet stickers. I think one of the biggest issues that we face as individuals that work with goaltenders, or goaltenders that are struggling, is that maybe we see signs that a goalie is not having a good day, or they might be struggling with something emotionally or mentally, and not having the confidence to go up and actually have a conversation with that individual, whether it's because it's just something that's not comfortable, which is totally understandable, or you don't want to say the wrong thing. And so it's a very thin line that we try and tread in terms of, going up and showing that we care, and, trying to have that conversation, and just stepping back and hoping that they kind of deal with it internally. But the last thing we really want is for a coach or a parent to see that a goalie is struggling and not do anything at all. So that's why these helmet stickers are so valuable, because they're just little tokens of understanding and appreciation. And if you're not comfortable having a conversation with the goalie about, some signs that may be pointing to, a mental health issue or trauma, just handing them one of these Lift the Mask stickers can go a really long way. It's just kind of like a silent way of saying, we're here for you. It's okay to not be okay. And, if you need someone to talk to, we're there. And so these helmet stickers have, we send them out every day to goalies that just need a pick me up, and to coaches that want to support their goalies, just showing that they care a little bit. And so that's a big part of the Lift the Mask program, is just dishing out these helmet stickers everywhere we go, and sending them out to anyone in the community that wants a few for their own goalies. And I love this picture of Kelsey, one of our pro ambassadors, working with this cute girl who's, been going through a tough time. And Kelsey gave the girl one of the stickers, and she's like our youngest Lift the Mask ambassador. So it's great to do this for young goalies. They become more self-aware. They feel empowered, and they feel good about themselves, knowing that they're supporting mental health and this initiative, and it just goes a really long way. So those have been a key part of our program over the past few years. And just as I kind of round out this video and get you guys thinking about, how can we support mental health for goaltenders, I just wanted to point to a paradox that has existed all my life, and again has kind of been a key driver in why I support mental health through the Goalie Guild Foundation. And that is just the paradox that we know that goalie performance is 90% mental, yet we only spend probably 10% of our time, working on our mental skills. And that's a problem. And that's really what I think advocacy and supporting mental health is all about, is just raising awareness that you may not feel it and you may not see it, but your mental game really matters. And it doesn't matter if you've got all the skill in the world. If you don't have the mental tools to overcome adversity, or you don't know how to reach out for help, and you try to bottle it all in, eventually it's going to, cast a shadow over your skills, and it's going to limit your potential and your ability to perform to the best of your ability. So this is a paradox that, it's not just goalie specific. This is something we see with all elite level athletes in any position, in any sport. And so really what comes out of this is what we've found as one potential solution that has really worked for our foundation and a lot of the goalies that we work with, is using mental performance training to help goalies lift the mask about their mental health. So there's all these mental skills that we know we need to be successful as goaltenders, that have to do with the mind, attention, focus, cognitive flexibility. creativity, spontaneous improvisation, one of my favorite subjects, everything that has to do with creativity in the flow state, just decision-making speed, memory. Like, these are mental skills that we know are important. And if we use this as a kind of gateway to start having conversations about how a young goalie is feeling inside their mind, it's amazing how that can actually help bring their guard down and have them start openly discussing, feelings and emotions and stuff that they've gone through and things that are holding them back, from being able to perform, whether it's worrying or it's signs of anxiety, or OCD or anything else that falls on that spectrum. So we found this to actually be a really successful solution to getting goalies to start thinking about, what they're thinking about and how they're actually feeling, and being able to express that in a way that leads to, healing and getting the support that they need from professionals. So we use mental performance, those cognitive skills that I just showed on the other slide, to help goalies actually lift the mask and talk about their mental health. And this is just something that's worked for me. I'm not saying, it's the only solution, but again, goaltending is such a complex position that this is something that has worked for our foundation and with a lot of the discussions that we've had, and maybe it will work for you as well. The last thing I just kind of wanted to point to, and this is something that I've learned over the years, as I continue to educate myself about how to advocate mental health and how to support goalies in any way I can, is just understanding that mental health is on a spectrum, and this is especially true for goalies. And one of the reasons why goalies really need their own support system and a program like Lift the Mask is because the position is just full of really challenging mental and emotional obstacles that you don't necessarily see in other sports. Goaltenders are the last line of defense. Everyone looks to them to stop every single puck, but we know that is not reality. Okay. Every goalie gives up goals. Every goalie has bad games. Every goalie goes through highs and lows. And so understanding that mental health is on a spectrum, and that even within a single game, a goalie can experience it all, is really important in just having a little bit more empathy, when dealing with goaltenders that are struggling or maybe showing signs of resistance or frustration or anger. And if you are a goaltender, or, you've worked with goaltenders and you've seen this, right? You're winning 1-0 and you make a huge save, 2 minutes into the game and you're thriving. And then 2 minutes later, you give up 2 or 3 goals and you feel like you're on the far end of the spectrum and you're really sinking. So this is why goalies, I think, are a little bit more prone to, having anxiety and really struggling with letting go of results and things like that, is because it's just inherent with the nature of the position. But by educating coaches and goalies and their parents about the fact that mental health is on a spectrum and we all fall somewhere on the spectrum, really helps them understand that it's, again, okay to not be okay. And that, these struggles that we deal with, whether it's anxiety or worrying or OCD tendencies, is like actually very normal for goaltenders. I think that's really important to help destigmatize the position, and the mental health component is to understand that, like, every goalie has those little mannerisms. Every goalie has those, little quirks about them, and that's totally okay. So I really love this graphic. This is from the Same Here resource center that we lean on as partners. And I just love the graphic because I think it is so true to the goaltender's experience. And I think it was just really important to share and to help, everyone understand that, like, when it comes to mental health for goaltenders, it's not just about, the 1 in 5 that might have, like, clinical depression or maybe diagnosed with an actual mental illness. It's about the 5 in 5. It's about all of us, because we all fall somewhere on the mental health spectrum. We all have mental health. And so just getting everyone to realize that, like, we all deal with these things in one way or another really helps eliminate some of those stigmas and again, eliminate some of those social barriers involved with mental health and goaltenders. So that's all I wanted to share. I wanted to make sure I kept this video around 20 minutes. Look to the online toolkit that I'll be supplementing with this video for more links to, some of the videos on our YouTube channel, some great discussions that you're willing to share with that you are free to share with goalies, with some of our pro ambassadors. And again, the most important thing for me with this session and being a part of this symposium is, again, not just to, preach about lift the mask, but to, inspire ideas and to ignite your thinking and your creativity in finding ways to support mental health for goaltenders in whatever way fits your needs, whatever way, works best for your organization or your community, or your program. So I'm really looking forward to the session on the 30th. Once again, special thanks to St. Mary's University and Dr. McDonald for this opportunity. And I will talk to you guys soon.